Filmmaker Tyler Perry sued for $260 million. The complaint filed in Los Angeles accuses Perry of creating a, quote, coercive, exploitative dynamic with actor Derek Dixon.
Tyler Perry is one of the biggest names in Hollywood. He's built an empire from the ground up, creating films, TV shows, and stage plays that have touched millions. He's been praised for uplifting Black stories and creating jobs in the entertainment industry. For many people, Tyler represented success, faith, and hard work.
Oh, anything. Hey, I'm just sitting here on my porch just looking. What am I looking at? I'm looking to the hills from whence cometh my help. For my help? Some of y'all know the rest. I just wanted to come on and just tell everybody, just be as calm as you can.
But now, a lawsuit has emerged that threatens to unravel everything he's built. Actor Derek Dixon has filed a massive $260 million lawsuit against Tyler Perry, accusing him of serious misconduct behind the scenes. And in the middle of all this, Eddie Murphy's name has resurfaced, not because he's involved, but because people are starting to wonder if he saw something the rest of us didn't.
I say my prayers. I'm a spiritual person. And I'm going to let God settle all this craziness and all this. But we can't all do that, Eddie. But that's what I'm doing, man. You know, that's what I'm doing.
I mean, I would love to work with Eddie. Eddie won't return my calls. Maybe one day we'll have a conversation. But I think Eddie got to a place in his life. He's like, look, I've done it all. I've seen it all. Peace out. So I don't know. I'd love to work with him.
For years, Tyler Perry tried to get Eddie Murphy to work with him. He offered him roles, praised him in interviews, and even publicly expressed his desire to team up. But Eddie never responded. He never accepted any of Tyler's offers, never showed up to the meetings, and always kept his distance. At the time, people thought maybe Eddie just wasn't interested, or maybe he didn't see the value in working with Tyler. But now, with all these serious allegations coming to light,
Complaints, Tyler Perry has been using his power and influence to promote impressionable and vulnerable employees and actors who look to him for guidance and mentorship while pursuing their dreams.
fans are starting to think Eddie's silence and distance weren't random at all. They believe Eddie might have sensed something was off, and instead of getting involved, he chose to walk away quietly. The lawsuit filed by Derek Dixon is explosive. Derek isn't just any actor. He's someone who worked closely with Tyler for years. He starred in over 80 episodes of Perry's hit shows, The Oval and Ruthless.
The production company denied the allegations in a statement to Access, claiming that Dixon is, quote, an individual who got close to Tyler Perry for what now appears to be nothing more than setting up a scam. The statement went on to note that Perry, quote, will not be shaken down, and that his counsel is confident these fabricated claims will fail. When asked for comment, Dixon's legal team told Access that at this time they believe the complaint speaks for itself.
And his complaint, Derek claims that what started as a promising career opportunity quickly turned dark. He says Tyler began by offering him praise, promising to elevate his career and talking about producing Derek's own projects. But then, according to Derek, things shifted. He began receiving strange messages, personal questions, and pushy advances that made him feel uncomfortable and pressured.
Reminded me about not just me, because it was brutal going through it, because it lasted for years.
Derek claims the behavior wasn't a one-time mistake. He describes it as a pattern that continued over years. He talks about how Tyler allegedly asked him inappropriate questions, made suggestive remarks about his appearance, and even acted possessive when Derek spoke to other men on set. In one part of the lawsuit, Derek says Tyler asked him, "What's it going to take for you to have guiltless?" In another message, Tyler allegedly compared him to a rose that refused to open.
One of these on me since '05, whether it's a keychain recorder or a pen, because most predators would check your phone. And I was like, well, I got to protect me, because I'm saying no, and I don't want this person, as powerful as they are, to try to get in the way of my work. So I started recording So I have them offering me money to take my clothes off. I have recordings when I wasn't working with them or for them.
It all sounds bizarre and disturbing, especially coming from someone with so much power and influence. The most serious accusations involve a cast trip to the Bahamas. Derek claims that during that trip, Tyler's behavior crossed a major line. He alleges that Tyler used his position as the showrunner and studio head to pressure him into situations that were clearly inappropriate. He also says Tyler dangled opportunities in front of him, like producing his pilot script, but only if Derek agreed to certain conditions.
Recordings of them confessing that, the other guys that they have on the payroll, all of the above. And the difference is, the wonderful thing about confidentiality agreements and non-disclosure agreements is that they can't prevent you from turning all of those things over to the police. As a crime, attempted sexual is a felony. Literally strategically planning my next 8 moves. I'm good. God got me because he was watching when I was offered these opportunities and I didn't say yes. I didn't sell my soul or my ass. Excuse my French, y'all. I know some of y'all, hopefully y'all have no kids around, but I didn't sell nothing for success. It's like, nah, that's not what I want.
When he refused, things changed. His character on the Oval was suddenly killed off, and his calls went unanswered. It felt like he was being punished for not giving in. What makes this lawsuit even more alarming is that Derek brought receipts. According to reports, he submitted screenshots of messages, conversations, and other forms of communication that support his claims. That's what has made people take this case more seriously. He's not just making accusations, he's backing them up with what he says is real evidence. Tyler's legal team has strongly denied everything.
Limitations expire. It's not about money, but I'm gonna have to take the receipts, the recordings down to the police department and let them hear this individual. I wasn't working for him in the month and the year that he showed up to my apartment and offered me $100,000 to take my clothes off. He said, I don't even need to touch you. I just want to see you naked. I declined. Because again, scenic route. I got my integrity with me. I'll take the long way around. But being that I wasn't working with him and we were in my apartment, he had visited my apartment to offer me a job of this fall because the lead of this particular project was going to do something else. So he needed another lead. I recorded it because I didn't trust him. And I had told him over and over. And he still always tried shit. Just tried shit. So if people don't believe me, they can hear him in his voice. I have always kept.
They say Derek is trying to pull off a scam and that the lawsuit is nothing but a money grab. But even if that's true, the damage is already done. The whispers about Tyler Perry's behavior have now turned into full-blown headlines. And this isn't the first time people have heard rumors about Tyler Perry. Back in 2022, actor Christian Keys posted a cryptic video talking about being harassed by 2 powerful black men in Hollywood. He didn't name anyone, but fans quickly connected the dots. Christian got his big break from Tyler Perry, and he worked on several of his projects. Over the years, in the video, Christian said he had recordings audio clips of these powerful men offering him money to take his clothes off, trying to pressure him into uncomfortable situations, and doing it all behind the scenes while keeping a clean public.
thought of Medea Meets the Clumps. You know I love to come in here and give you some ideas.
Listen to me. I would love to work with Eddie. Eddie won't return my calls. So maybe one day we'll have a conversation. But I think Eddie got to a place in his life. He's like, look, I've done it all. I've seen it all. Peace out. So I don't know. I'd love to work with Eddie on something for sure.
You just gotta walk up on him the next time you guys are one of these Oscar parties.
No, Eddie doesn't show up anywhere. Eddie is a recluse. He shows up nowhere. If I find him, I will corner him.
Image. Christian said he never went public before because he was scared. He even said he always carried a recorder on him because he knew how dangerous things could get. He talked about one specific moment when a man offered him $100,000 just to get naked. Christian said he declined, recorded the conversation, and then went silent. After that video went viral, Christian basically disappeared. He stopped posting, didn't do interviews, and never followed through on his plan to turn the recordings over to the police.
And push the baby out.
Come upon you right now. Keep me with his hair. God, I thank you for your blessings. Stand up. Come on, somebody give God some praise. He's pushing that baby out. Somebody is pushing that baby out. Somebody holler, boys.
That silence led to even more speculation. Some people believe he was paid off. Others think he got scared and backed out. But with this new lawsuit from Derek Dixon, Christian's old story is gaining attention all over again. The patterns are starting to connect, and people are wondering just how deep this really goes. Is Derek Dixon the only one brave enough to come forward? Or are there others who have stayed silent out of fear, shame, or legal pressure? And then there's Eddie Murphy, who never once took a job with Tyler Perry. Over the years, Tyler made it clear he wanted to work with Eddie. He publicly said he would love to do a Medea Meets the Clumps movie. He joked about tracking Eddie down at an Oscar party. He even said Eddie wouldn't return his calls. But Eddie kept quiet and never played along. That's why fans are now asking, did Eddie know something the rest of us didn't? According to sources close to Eddie, he just never felt right about Tyler Perry. On the surface, Tyler presented himself as a spiritual Christian man who gave back to the community. But behind the scenes, things felt different. Eddie reportedly didn't like some of the people Tyler surrounded himself with, especially flashy prosperity preachers with questionable reputations. One of those preachers had ties to Diddy, another powerful figure currently facing his own legal troubles. Eddie, who has gone through his own transformation over the years, didn't want to be around that energy. He distanced himself from Hollywood, parties, focused on his family, and kept a low profile. It wasn't just about business. Eddie wasn't turning down Tyler because he didn't like the roles. This is the same Eddie Murphy who played outrageous characters, wore fat suits, and did some of the boldest comedy of his generation. So it clearly wasn't about the style or content. It was about something deeper, something that didn't sit right with him. And now, as these lawsuits unfold, it's starting to look like Eddie's decision to stay away wasn't just about personal preference. It might have been a smart and cautious move. Fans are now revisiting old videos, interviews, and red carpet moments. They're looking at how Tyler interacted with young male actors. Some of those moments that once seemed innocent now feel uncomfortable. The compliments, the touches, the way Tyler acted around certain people, it's all being viewed through a different lens. People are saying they didn't want to believe the rumors back then, but now everything is starting to make sense. Hollywood has a history of protecting its powerful. When someone is making money and building a successful brand, the industry often turns a blind eye. But the internet doesn't forget. Social media is connecting dots faster than ever before. There's also talk that more lawsuits could be coming. Now that Derek Dixon has stepped forward, others who've stayed quiet might be watching to see what happens next. If even one more person files a similar claim, Tyler's entire empire could be in serious trouble. The $260 million lawsuit is just the beginning. People are wondering if other actors, former employees, or industry insiders will speak out. And if they do, will they also bring evidence like Derek did? If Christian Keys finally decides to release his recordings, that could be another major blow. The timing of all this is also suspicious. Tyler Perry has been making big moves recently. He's been pitching new projects, expanding his studio, and positioning himself as a major voice in Black Hollywood. He's been talking about launching networks, producing high-budget content, and even working with big-name streaming services. Just as he's trying to level up, these old accusations are creeping back into the spotlight. It's like the shadows he tried to run from are catching up with him. And now, everything he's built could come crashing down. Eddie Murphy, on the other hand, continues to stay quiet. He hasn't made any public comments about the lawsuit. He hasn't said, "I told you so." But fans believe his silence speaks volumes. They're calling him wise for walking away. They believe he saw the red flags before anyone else and chose not to ignore them. While others chased the spotlight, Eddie protected his peace. And now, his decision looks smarter than ever. Some even say he tried to warn us, not with words, but with actions. He didn't need to speak out. His refusal to get involved was his message. So now, we're left with a lot of questions. Is Derek Dixon telling the truth? Is this lawsuit first of many? And what will happen to Tyler Perry's empire if more people come forward? We don't have all the answers yet, but one thing is clear. Hollywood is changing. People are no longer afraid to speak up. The old rules of silence and protection are breaking down. And the truth, no matter how uncomfortable, is finally coming to light. Whether you believe Derek or not, his lawsuit has sparked a conversation that can't be ignored. Asterisk.